Hello, everyone, and welcome to our special event today that we had spoke about last week. Just briefly, with as much information as possible, talking about products, talking about labs. We want to start the process of training on this. So this is one of our first steps here that we are excited about on a new era here at Medicus Global. Not only do we have an amazing telemedicine structure and infrastructure, as well as back office, et cetera, but to be able to add something like this and promote wellness in conjunction with the telemedicine has just been an exciting venture, and it's exciting to know that we're right here and it's all ready to go already for any and all of our associates to start the marketing side of it. But we also understand the importance of learning and educating on it and understanding exactly what we're doing here. So my name is Stephen Rossiter, in case you guys are new to this call today. I am the president of Medicus Global, as well as one of the founders of Medicus Global. I've been involved with this obviously since day one. And I just want to make a special thank you to a lot of people that are on this call that might be listening to this recording, that might be listening to this later, or you might be up in the middle of the night, wherever you're at in the world, just listening to what we're doing here. I just want to say a special thank you. Not only a thank you to you, but also a thank you to all of our leaders and everyone who's been involved with this for well over a year now and a part of the ups and downs with this. So I do want to gear this call specifically towards products and a little bit on the labs. This is going to be the first part of a several part training. We found that as we're getting information coming in, and we'll talk about this a little bit during this call, but as we're getting information in and going over this, we want to make sure that we're not giving too much information on one call. So today we're going to really just discuss the basics side and take a look at the new prescription form and the process for that and how that works. And what you need to do as an associate when marketing this, because it's actually very, very simple. So one of the key things and advice that I can give you is don't think too hard about this. Keep it very, very simple, and you will be very successful with it. Anything that you think that might be a problem or you need to check on, then you definitely need to check on that, okay? So with that being said, I do have two of my executive staff members here with me right now that's on the call with me. I'll introduce both of them to you real quick. Just let them say hello. I know this is directly geared towards products today, so we won't give too much of an introduction on them, but just let them say hi and welcome to everybody. But first, ladies first, obviously, I want to bring on our Vice President of Business to Business, who's doing another webinar this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm very, very excited for everyone who joins that wants to learn more about the business to business. But I'd like to just let Jennifer Chamberlain just say hello to everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know you're going to be excited about what you hear on this call today. And if you have any questions regarding B2B, just give me a call.
Thank you, Jennifer, very much. And also on the call with me as well as our Vice President of Latin Corporate Development, Mr. Ricardo Garcia. Ricardo?
Hello, everybody. This is Ricardo. Just want to say hi to everybody. Thanks for coming on board. Hope this here helps you out a lot with the questions and information you guys have. And you still have questions, remember, send an email out or give us a call. We're here to help. Thanks.
Absolutely. And I also have Mr. Norman Ball, who's been helping us tremendously out with a lot of this process on behalf of corporate. He is in the chat room right now. He is not live on this call, but he'll be helping answering any of the chats with that and with this presentation. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into this. As you can see on your screen, you will see, welcome to our special event today. So today our event is to discuss our new labs and products only. We don't have every bit of the information ready to go. It is at compliance right now, making sure we have the right information going out. So I am going to go ahead and mention now, as well as at the end of this call, there will be a part 2 to this call today, which will be this Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so that's this Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Let's see, so today is May the 9th, May 12th, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll get this information out to you relatively quick. That way you can go ahead and register for the event and share it with your downlines or with the people in your teams and organizations. So we want to make sure that everybody that we can get on that call, because we'll recap a lot what we're speaking about today, as well as adding in more information on that call. And we'll probably continue this process going 2 days a week on the trainings so that you have plenty of recordings and plenty of information, because there's a lot of new things coming in every single day, including today. And one of the reasons for a little bit of the delays that we've had is we're very, very excited to be in our new corporate office. We did new corporate offices over the last week. That's been kind of fun. and getting a new location with that. So we are excited about that, and we'll be able to send information about that out to everyone as well. And we'll talk more about that on the Wednesday night's call. So again, today our event is to discuss new labs and products only. So labs that we have to kick off this product offering, all right, are just, your basic labs. The sky is the limit with this. We have so much that we can add into this. But as we are developing this, we want to make sure we're just putting out a little bit at a time, so we make sure we have everything available to you as the associate. We have the FDA-approved DNA-based cancer screenings, the hereditary DNA cancer screenings, as well as the FDA-approved DNA-based cholesterol scans and pregnancy scans. A lot of things that everybody's physician, primary care, urgent care, it doesn't matter. They know exactly what these screens are, okay? And as we get the process developed for the labs themselves, we'll hopefully have that. We'll hopefully have that process available to everyone on, I believe it's this Thursday at 3 p.m. So that's one of the main parts. So other labs we can expect to be added as we go through this process. Okay. Documentation, forms, and descriptions. There's new information arriving daily, and that's something that I spoke about. And as we are building this process, we want to make sure that we're developing this. So you'll see this PowerPoint here that we've developed now, and we will add to this as we go through the trainings, being able to recap and develop new recordings all the way through this process, okay? As new materials is added, it will be in your back office as well, and you will receive updates on that as they come. This is I tell you, everything that's coming in, even the marketing materials, some of the marketing materials are coming straight from the industry itself on the product side. And we're excited. We're kind of going through that to simplify it for everyone. Of course, the long version will be for everyone who wants to read through everything about the products. But we also create some marketing materials for everyone there. Making sure that's working correctly. Is it working? Okay. So the outline today, I'm going to talk, we're going to go through the prescription form, because those of you who've seen the old one, we still are getting a few people coming in on the old one that are still using that. We have done away with that old prescription form and started a new one. This new form that I'm going to show you here in just a moment has been created specifically for the success rate for it. It's a completely different layout. This was not created by Medicus Global. This was not created by any Medicus Global staff. This was created by an outside group that specializes in this, okay? So those of you that have seen this form, I know it's self-explanatory, but I want to make sure I go through some of the same rules with it. And one being that here where you see the prescriber's name and information, that is only to be filled out by the physician, okay? And only a doctor can fill that out. That's treating whoever is inquiring about the need for any of these type of wellness prescriptions, okay? On the right side of that on the top of your screen, it's the patient's name. We encourage to fill this part out, while you're sitting there with your physician. Right now, the only way to be able to get these prescriptions on this form that I'm showing you is by going to a physician. Using the telemedicine side of this is not ready yet. We have training that we have to do. We have setup that we have to do. So when speaking with, they'll simply take this to a primary care physician or to an urgent care, someplace simple where they're not going in for a treatment. They're just going in to speak to a doctor. And the doctor will be able to fill this out and send it to the information available. And all this is in your back office currently. If you have questions on this after I'm done with this presentation today, please feel free to shoot us an email to information@mymedicus.com. If somebody can put that in the chat room there for me, that would be great. But information@mymedicus.com, and that will go in and make sure that somebody can get something answered back to you right away. Okay. So as we go down this form, you'll notice the line just below the prescriber as well as the patient. It says, please include patient's demographic information, insurance information, and that is a copy of the card if possible, and a pharmacy benefits information. Okay. Again, that is done completely between the physician as well as the patient. The only thing that any Medicus Global associate would do is put this information in front of whomever that you would like. They would take this information and consult with their physician. Once you put the information in front of them, then that's all that you do. We don't want anybody emailing anything in. There's a compliance breach with that. You don't want to break compliance. You don't want to mess with anybody's medical information. You don't want to fill out anything for anybody else. You don't want to create any incentives whatsoever. Simply just putting the information in front of somebody, and that's as far as you need to go, but also being able to answer questions about the products as well if they ask. After that, the process is completely between the patient and their physician. And whatever they decide to do from there is up to them, okay? You don't ever want to push anybody to try to use something that they don't need, and that's why it's important that the physician recommends what prescriptions they feel are best for the patient, okay? So you want to make sure you stay on the compliance side with that. And as great as these products are and more that's coming in, you will not have any issue because, you know, a lot of, like the first one you see on your screen here, the combination pain and inflammation therapy, that's an amazing wellness product. That really could substitute a lot of oral things that people are taking. And again, they would be able to speak directly with that physician about that, on which one is best for them, as well as the topical solution, the NSAID. We are developing a sheet for you that you will get that will have all the information there. When it comes to the refills, the doctor handles all of this, okay? And always read the fine print as you're learning about this and know what it says, just in case there's any questions that come up. And that's if necessary for any reason. The pharmacy may fill one of the component of the combo therapy. If for any reason the patient cannot receive the above therapy, pharmacy may dispense alternative compound pain therapy in lieu of or in conjunction with the original prescribed therapy. So, and that has a lot to do with the insurance. That has a lot to do with any type of allergic reactions. That has a lot to do with something that's not anything to do with any of us. That has to be done between the patient and the physician. And I'll be saying that a lot during this call because it's important to know that all we're doing is giving the information to the possible person who might end up using it, but they need to consult with a physician to make sure it's the right thing for them. Most of the time, you don't have any issues, but we don't get into anything to do with the allergic, anything anybody's allergic to. They handle that with their physician. When the physician feels need to send the information in, then they will do so, which already is being a very, very high success rate on that. So we're very, very excited about that. Okay, so this is something that, again, I'm giving a lot of information, but think very, very simple with it because the process for you as an associate is very simple. I'll move to the next screen here. Let's see if I do apologize. I'm resetting up my computer too in a new office, so it's a little different now. But on the screen, you'll see number 3 here, compounded pain therapy, as well as headache therapy, as well as scar therapy. There's 2 different forms of that. And the general wellness, you'll notice a folic acid, 1 milligram, and vitamin D3. You'd be surprised. It's an interesting thing to look up as an associate and familiarize yourself with it. Is how many Americans are vitamin D deficient, for sure. It's a huge part of that, and it's a general wellness. Again, all these are promoting a substitute from taking anything orally, and helping a lot of different levels of people, whether it be young athletes, whether it be people in their mid-40s, 50s, seniors, joint therapy, arthritis, all different kinds of things that these different products can help with. So with that being said, it gives these 7 different products that you're seeing in front of you can almost target any person that you're speaking with. You know, we already spoke before in another call that 80% of people in America are on some sort of pain therapy, okay, whether it be a high-level type of prescriptions that they're taking for high-level pains or low-level pains, arthritis, whatever it is, but 80% of Americans take something to have a comfort of pain. So we are also working on the testimonials as we've already had people receive the products and just listening to people who choose to do so on their own, and just what their process was and how they feel about the products that they're using. And that's it. We're not using any personal information on that whatsoever. We will not use anybody's names or locations as well. This is purely just a testimony of how people like the products that they're using. Okay. So as you look at the bottom of your screen, just below the number 7, where that square is, and I do apologize for the blurriness. I know some of you are seeing it. I know on the recording it will be pretty clear. So if you are having some issues seeing it, I know internet connections have a lot to do with that, but we'll get that taken care of. The formulas on this sheet are not intended to make claims or to be recommendations, as they are simply examples of commonly used formulas for the reference conditions. Okay, and those are excuse me about the screen. Those are just disclaimers here. Application instructions by quantity. Those are things that the doctor discusses with the patient directly, okay? So as you look at this form, I kind of went through it a little bit in depth. We'll be putting information on this. We're going to be having a marketing sheet that's available that these products will be laid out of, and what the different ingredients are and what they treat, okay? So we're putting that together, so that'll be available in your back office as well. And then as you go through this, the form's pretty simple. So having this available to everyone is all you need to do as an associate, okay? When you're looking at the bottom of this, everything from custom formulation notes, etc., all that's filled out by the physician, okay? Prescriber signature and the date. The box that's located here in the bottom right-hand corner, we encourage people to do so. You have some options there. You can put this PDF on your own computer. If you know how to put that number in there, you can. We are working on an automatic population of this, so that when you go to your back office, your number will be in there. It is not available yet. Programmers are working on that, so whenever we have that ready, we should be ready here fairly soon. Once we have that available, it'll just make the process even easier. But until then, you can write in your ID number there in the bottom. You can have some small labels that you can stick to it, just have an ID number there. You can do a PDF and add your number in there and type, or however you choose to do so. This is the form that we will continue to use for the products. As we add more, there'll be other forms available for different products. So you'll be able to give different things, as well as the labs process as well. You'll have all the information on another part of your back office that's available to you. And then we're wanting to make sure we put these kind of in a packet form so that you have information for them, but not too much information, because none of us are physicians. So we don't want to tell people what we think they need to take. We just want to let them know that these are available, and to talk to their primary care physician about it. Okay, being that these are FDA-approved products, and being that they are wellness and they don't fall in under the DEA-controlled substances, eventually the telemedicine side will be in operation with that. We are working on that. It's just not available yet for them to call and get any of these products over the service. So when it comes to the product or lab side, it needs to come directly from a physician that they see in person until we finalize the process with the other parts of this. And if you do have any questions while we're going through this presentation, please feel free to type them in as I see them. When I'm going through the rest of this, I'll stop and answer them as they come in, just to make sure we're getting most of the questions answered. So we'll move to the next slide here. A lot of familiar faces on the call today too, and just want to say hey to everyone. Welcome everyone to the call for sure. It's good to see all the names. So the Labs Commission strategy, and this information will be available also as well in a complete form, but this is the basics for you. I'm going to briefly go through the commission side so that you can understand what we're talking about when it comes to this. So the Lab Commission strategy. You can look at the different examples and go through your screen. If you can't see them, again, this will be available. We have some people that the focus is good, some are not good. That does have to do with internet connection. The video that you will receive after this will be clear, because I do see it in front of me and it's a clear picture. So I do apologize for that if you are going through any trouble of it being blurry. This will be available to you in copy form for you to be able to read. Okay, thanks Tyrone for putting that in. All right, so the Labs Commission strategy pays on one additional level in the build's width. Okay, so if you're just looking at the different adjudicated prices, and adjudication just means the actual funds that are used for the marketing side of each prescription. So the amounts vary on different types of insurance companies, different types of groups. It all depends on the policies and et cetera, and how it's prescribed, and maybe they don't need all of the formulas, so maybe the formulas change a little bit to accommodate their needs. So we've made it a little bit more understanding for you on the different levels here. So just looking at, if you do have one sale and adjudicated price is $300, and the commission that's paid out directly to you is $120. And it goes up from there. We gave some examples as you go up, $500, $700, $900, whatever those adjudicated prices are. You'll see the different amounts you can make. So you can see why we didn't want to stick with one amount. We wanted to let this vary, because you can see how high commissions can go depending on the different products. So it's a much more balance for each and every one of you, and it's better for all of us to have just a percentage structure. Okay. So I hope that makes sense to you. Let's see. Thank you for answering that, Robert. And Robert Anderson, our Vice President, is on here now. He's answering questions as well. So I appreciate that, Robert. I'll let you handle, as well as Norman, any questions that come in that you guys see on there. We can get those out. But thanks for that question, Nigel. As you're looking at the level 1 commission, so the level 1 side, it's a 15% of the adjudicated price, and you can see it's going from 45 all the way up to 375, depending on the product for that that second for your direct sponsor. So the level 1, and then the level 2, you're looking at a 5% of the adjudicated price, and these are the amounts there as well. And not to mention the overrides as well. We will have those available on there. So with that being said, it kind of gives you an idea of the commissions. I'll back up here just a second. So it is a 40%, 15%, and 5%. Okay. And then with the overrides as well, we will have those on, those structures in on the next call that we do with this, so that we're not giving too much information. But this gives you an idea to really understand, and some information that you can share with your groups on how the commissions work and what the potentials are, because they range from all different prices. And just so you know, all the amounts and everything you see are for illustration purposes only. We do not have any control whatsoever on what any of the adjudicated prices will be. This will be 100% done based on when the completion of that transaction happens between the patient and the physician, as well as the insurance company. We don't handle anything to do with that. So once those come in, you will also be able to see what those amounts are. I mean, eventually we'll have all this programmed in, so it's very, very simple to see. But I want to make sure that you can see kind of a visual on what we're producing here. It's a very, very big picture. And I hope this call helps a little better, so that we don't, give too much information, because I don't want to confuse anybody. But I think everyone should understand pretty clearly on what we're showing now. It didn't say if it was a pregnancy scan, FDA approved. Also, Robert, I'll let you answer that one. On the lab side, ladies and gentlemen, on any questions that has on the labs, we will have more information on the labs come this Thursday. Things are coming in daily right now. We want to make sure we get everything together, so that when we do a recording like this, that recording you have to be able to share with everyone. Okay, we don't want to put information out and then have to change it tomorrow. We want to make sure you have everything correct. So we're hoping that next Thursday we will have a lot of more information available to everyone on this Thursday at 3 p.m. But moving forward from that, we'll continue to have these calls every week, separate from our Wednesday calls, so that we continue the training process. And I encourage you that if you have new associates and you have new people coming in or are interested in this part of it, I want you to invite them to come to these calls, because this is truly just about being able to ask a few questions and kind of see specifically on this side of what Medicus Global has to offer, okay? Which is absolutely amazing on where we're going with that. All right, Tyrone, I think Robert did answer your question, but we will be doing that. And Robert again says, questions like specifically concerning each individual product, if it's something different than what I've spoke about on this call today, please make sure that you email those questions in right away. And Robert is working on that, every single day. We're almost, feels like 24 hours around the clock putting all this together, but we want to make sure we get most of this stuff completed and done before the end of this week. But the product side is already moving. It's already ready to go. And again, the only thing you're needing to do as an associate, okay, is to be able to put this information in front of other people. And it doesn't matter who that is or what that is. We don't determine whether their policies are covered. We don't determine anything of that. You let them handle what they would like to do and send it out by the mass numbers, okay? So everything's tracked by your ID number. We have dashboards available that we're working on integration side, so that things can be seen and we can have information put in throughout the whole process. Yeah, Robert, I'll let you put the answer to that, because Riza did ask a question: is there a reason why the pharmacy's name is not on the RX form? And thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, by law, you cannot have on any prescription form a pharmacy name listed on that prescription form. That is called steering, or steerage. Excuse me for lack of better words, but steerage. We can't put anything on a form to steer them in the direction of one pharmacy. Every patient has the right to choose whatever pharmacy they'd like to choose. So But, like anything else, when we go to a physician, it's always asked, which pharmacy would you like us to use? And, you might say a Rite Aid, or you might say a Walmart, or you might say a Kroger. Whichever facility that you ask, you have the right as a patient to ask for that. Okay, so it's important also to let your patients know that the suggested pharmacy that we find the best results with are the ones that we're providing. By all means, if a patient wants to use another pharmacy, that's entirely up to them. And it's a very low percentage that happens with, but if it does, it just moves that direction. There's nothing we can do about that because of the laws that are in place with that. So thank you for answering that, Robert, very much. And thank you, Nigel, for your part of it. We are kind of, I wanted to keep this down to about 30 minutes today to not waste too much time and to be able to get these recordings out to everyone right away to use this, because we did have a layout of the lab commission strategy and the basic layout of the actual new form that's there. We don't have any information out on that yet on a recording. So I wanted to make sure that I spoke about that form today. So as you're going through that and as we end this call here in just a few minutes, if there's any questions that you have, they always pop up. When you ask questions to us here at Medicus Global Corporate, we take those questions and we have those as our frequently asked questions as well, so that we can start generating a list as well that puts that together. And Rizzi, you're very welcome on that very much, and thank you for your question. So one of the biggest things, ladies and gentlemen, on this particular process, it's very important for us on corporate to make sure we're always giving you the accurate information because of the rules and regulations. On your end, one helpful piece of information that I can give you is never, ever, ever, ever offer to pay any part of anything to do with anything in any way, shape, or form for anybody in this process. And what I mean by that is anything to do with copays. Even buying a simple lunch can be a problem with that. You don't want to get into any of that whatsoever when it comes to this. And this is why I said make this very, very simple. Just give the information to people. If they have questions, they can always contact you, or they can just go speak to their primary care physician. All these products are listed. Doctors do know about them, okay? Doctors do know about this. They know about it, and if a doctor chooses not to prescribe, doctors are independently physicians. They have the choice, but it doesn't mean the patient only has to talk to that physician, okay? They can go to other physicians and speak. In some cases, it might be that the physician feels that this particular patient doesn't need this type of prescription, okay? And if that's the case, there's nothing anyone can do about it. With the number of people that are out there and the number of people that we go to on a day-to-day basis in our normal lives and what we come across when we're sitting in a restaurant or we're on a bus or we're on a plane, the amount of people you can speak to and let them know about this and that these opportunities are here, the success is high, very high, ladies and gentlemen. And if once we start going through this and you understanding, how simple this really is, just giving them hey, take this to your primary care physician and speak about it. You can have a conversation about what it is. You can have a conversation about Medicus Global, the telemedicine side, and what we offer here for 24/7 doctors available for non-emergency needs, and eliminate those unnecessary ER and urgent care visits for things that come up in the middle of the night, on a weekend, or sick children or people in town visiting that get sick. There's so many different ways that you can have the conversation. And oh yeah, by the way, we also have a wellness program that we offer some amazing products that can really help people stay off of taking things orally. With the prescription drug groups and how things are done right now, it's sad to say that a lot of people get addicted to the prescriptions that they take. And these are alternatives. Especially when you're looking at athletes with the pain creams, etc. You have a massive part of that is truly an opportunity to help change lives, and that's what our main goal is here with Medicus Global, is to promote wellness. So as we bring products in, as we bring more things on board with this, everything is designed to promote wellness. You look at the labs. A lot of people don't even take labs. They purposely, because of the amount of time that it takes. You have to go to your primary care physician, you have to get a referral, then you have to go to a lab, you have to spend however much. Now labs today are kind of walk in and you wait to the next available time. There's a lot of different things that this benefits to get the screenings that are needed to everyone, okay? Let's see if there's any questions I'm missing here. Okay, Ann's refreshing. Yeah, thank you for answering that, Nate. And you don't. And again, for everyone, you don't want to get into a position to where you're you're giving false information. You know, things like, you know, if you notice any type of prescriptions that you see on TV, on commercials today in America, do you see all the disclaimers that are put with that? How much stuff, it's almost that they talk the patient out of using that product with all the side effects that come involved with that prescription. Those are all compliance things that prescription drug companies have to disclose whenever they're promoting or marketing anything. We're not marketing that these products are better than this. We're not marketing that these products are the best that you can get. We're not marketing any of this. We're just letting people know that these are available to them and they're alternatives to what you may be currently taking. If you're taking anything, or if they have arthritis and joint pain, and you know, a lot of prescriptions that you take don't handle it. Maybe taking something like a, you know, like a pain cream type thing and putting it on the joints that you have problems with might help you. It's worth the try. And the risk that the patient has is a very, very, very low risk because it's covered by the insurance companies. So there's not really much that the patient is losing, but they can also try it. And most of the time you'll find out that it is a successful side, and they continue to use that. Okay. So as refills are done, then those are considered more other successful transactions, and the commissions will be paid on that as well. Looking at more questions here before we move forward. Yeah, I mean, and absolutely, because these are shipped to your door. You don't have to take time off of work to go to any pharmacies. And I think the question was, you know, or not a question, but just a statement that was just put in was, you can let them know that these are shipped to you. You can let them know this is a much easier process. You don't have to go through the whole pharmacy, the whole waiting in line, and everything is done and it's shipped directly to your home. There's no problems. It's very simple. It's hassle-free. You know, that they can get this process done for sure. Perfect. Okay. Let's see if I missed. Okay. So we're going to let a few more questions come in, but while if there's any more questions coming in on this call, first I just want to say thank you for joining us today. And if you are looking at this as a recording, I hope a lot of this information is there. We're working on keeping these down to about 30 minutes just to give the direct information and talk specifically about this part of what Medicus Global is doing. So as more questions are coming in, we'll see what the questions are out there. But again, if you get off this call and you have a question come up, jot that into your smartphone, jot it into your computer, shoot it over to information@mymedicus.com. Let us get that answered to you right away to help you out. If it's we get a lot of questions already, but if it's a question from somebody else who's looking at it and you don't know, shoot that right away. If it's something that's urgent that you're needing to get a reply back because you're dealing with somebody, hey, put urgent in the subject line. Let us know that this is something that's urgent, that you need to get an answer back right away. With that being said, so thank you, Norman, for that. Yeah, we had a little bit of a typo there, but we'll get that corrected, and that's pays on 2 levels. And Build Step was just a little bit a note there, so we do apologize, but we'll get that fixed. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I hope this gives you some direct information. One, it really clears up a lot of the questions on the commission side and how that works and what we're speaking about when it comes to adjudicated amounts. And then also, just going through the form in general so you know exactly what to do. I wanted you to know a lot about the form and how it works, but there's not much you have to do with that form as an associate. You're really just putting that in the hands of somebody and letting them handle it and go see their own physician. They don't necessarily have to go to their regular primary care doctor. They just need to speak to a doctor about it. Okay? Let's see here. Any more questions that we're missing? I just want to make sure I get all these answered. Correct. And the overrides, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have those all figured out and done by the time we hit the call on Thursday. So looks like all the questions we kind of answered a lot with this particular call. So, ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a few dates for this week, just to let you know, Wednesday, which is the 11th, 8 p.m. Eastern, will be our normal updates, going over everything in general on corporate, on all different levels, as well as speaking a little bit about the products and lab side as well. Thursday, the 12th, at 3 p.m. Eastern, we will have another call like this, expanding more into labs and more into information and more into marketing materials on this. Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern will be our business-to-business, specifically talking about business-to-business. So a lot like this call, excuse me, we won't be talking a lot about Other stuff with the company, just strictly the business-to-business side and the opportunities. And I will just give you a little bit of a information on that call. You know, anything to do with the corporate world, anything to do with employers that have employees, maybe you have contacts. There are opportunities there for you as an associate with that. And Jennifer Chamberlain, as well as Morgan Sharp, and as well as other members of our business-to-business team will be on that call to give them the general overlay for that and how the process works. That will also be a 2 to 3 part call as well, and just training about the business-to-business side on this. Let's see, and that'll be Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure, do we have a call Friday? Yeah, the international expansion. We'll be talking specifically about what's going on in the international world as well. If you'd like to hear about that, please join us. I know we'll have a lot of our people outside of the U.S. joining us on that call, but we invite everyone to come to that so you know what's going on that. That'll also be at 3 p.m. Eastern on Friday the 13th. Now that's a scary date, but anyways, it's a scary date with some good information. But Friday the 13th will be our, at 3 p.m. Eastern, will be our international expansion call. Let's see what Nigel wrote here. Robert, if you want to answer that, I'm not completely understanding the question there, Nigel. Let's see, what is your observation? Please, when a prospect's gut reaction might be that the non-narcotic might be as effective as the narcotic. One of the things you always want to try alternatives that take you away from the narcotics. One of the things, Nigel, that we want to do when you're promoting wellness to anyone, and I myself have used one of the products myself, and I can tell you that the effectiveness of it is very, very, very good because it takes away from any type of taking anything orally. What's a little bit alarming about it is the one question that you ask people is, what are the ingredients and side effects of the prescription that you're taking? Most people have no idea what it's doing. And when it's educated on them on what hydrocodone or what Percocet or what some of these prescriptions do to you while taking them on a long-term basis, it's quite scary. So one of the things is encouraging people to understand what are the side effects from what they take and compare that to what are the side effects of taking something that's topical. The risk goes way down, the harm that it does to your body goes way down, so it's really worth to see if it's something that can substitute for you. I mean, the risk is no risk there for you to try it. It is topical, you're not taking anything oral. You're promoting the wellness and you're bettering you as a person and you're taking care of your body, and that's one of the main things that we're promoting here with this. Thank you, Robert, for that. Where Nigel, some narcotics can be where creams are non-addictive. Yep. So what's being said in the chat here, ladies and gentlemen, is the narcotics can be addictive where topicals are not. These are things that you're putting on. You're not addictive. You don't feel the need to have to take them, even sometimes when you don't need them. So the addiction side is not there, which is a big, big part of the pain world now is people have to take that. Where topicals, you don't have an addiction. And you're looking at, just to give an example, let's just look at an athlete, somebody maybe in late teens, early 20s. You don't want them moving into a direction of getting into narcotics. So this is an alternative before they ever see the narcotic side, and it's something that may help their condition or what they need based on what their primary care physician tells them or their doctor that they're speaking with tells them that yes, this is something to try. I mean, doctors do not want to prescribe narcotics as a pain management. Okay, they want to promote wellness themselves. So it's something that's a lot of physicians that I've spoken with, they're very hesitant, and when they do prescribe narcotics, it's a very, very low amount. So they may give you just X amount to have for a few days. They don't want you to have anything for long term. And there's also a lot of liability there for the physician as well as the patient. So with topicals, you take all that out of the equation. Take all that out of the equation, and you're promoting just a healthier lifestyle. So, all right, so I think we've answered most of the questions. If there are more questions that are coming in, I do want to keep this call as short as possible. This recording will be available, ladies and gentlemen, today. We'll get that up in your back office. And possibly we'll get an email together recapping this and just sending it out, so that way it hits everybody's email inboxes so you have the link to it. So first, on behalf of our corporate staff and myself and this whole process, and to all of our associates, our potential associates, our customers, everybody involved with Medicus Global today. It's just fantastic to see the growth and see the excitement and see such amazing opportunities come available here. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for coming to this call. And I did have one testimonial that I wanted to share that was just kind of exciting to speak about. And I won't mention a name, but I do want to give a testimonial just on the telemedicine side. Over this past weekend, we actually had a member, not sure if this person's on the call, but we actually had a member that called in to utilize the service, and unfortunately they were unable to access the doctor's side for the telemedicine because they mistakenly put in the wrong birth date. And the way HIPAA compliance works is when you call in, you can't get a doctor consultation unless they can verify your information. So I just want to say a special thanks to our corporate staff, specifically our executive assistant, Jennifer Hoyle, who actually took the time out of her day off, and actually within 30 minutes of that call coming in, this patient had a doctor on the phone and was able to be treated based on Medicus Global's customer service, our quality care, and that's one more person that was taken care of, and it was actually because they had a sick 3-year-old at home, and their only option was to go to the ER. And that was a pretty exciting testimonial. So we did ask this person to write one. When it comes in, we will share that with everybody. But I just wanted to share that with everyone, something very, very positive, that as this has grown and developed, the streamline and what we're able to do to help people in their times of need is exactly what we're here for. So just wanted to share that with everyone. But again, everyone, thank you very much for joining this call. This is recorded, and we will get this information out to you right away. On that note, on behalf of Medicus Global, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.